Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shemai, Yasser Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shemai, Yasser Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad. All right. Which is to say, hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our power is one. Shemai means hear or listen. Yashar Allah, Israel, Yahweh the Most High, Allahayanawa, our power, Achad is one. So hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our power is one. All right, today I want to go into a topic titled flowing in the Spirit, because I don't have it set in stone specifically what I'm gonna talk about, but what I do have on my spirit is a righteous kingdom. All right. So what's been on my spirit is, building a righteous kingdom, sustaining a kingdom, comparing it to the kingdom that we have here in America, or the kingdom that we have here in the Western Hemisphere. Not only is it's a wicked kingdom, it is a wicked kingdom, but it's a detrimental kingdom. All right, it's a detrimental kingdom. All right, it's not consistent with existence. All right, this planet Earth, what they call Mother Earth, all right, it's a nourisher, and it's built to sustain us. All right, it's built to sustain. Hey, Shalom, brother Yahweh Shemashai, Barakatah. This the planet Earth was built to sustain us, and as a righteous king, a righteous ruler, a righteous governor, all right, you implement systems, all right, to sustain your people, and you properly utilize the earth to sustain your people. So when you have so you got something called a carbon footprint, all right, and in so many words, there's really corporations telling you to be more responsible for your recycling and for your carbon output, but really, there's nothing you can do as a human. All right, the thing that has hacked and taken hostage, held hostage the planet Earth, is the elites running this world through their corporations. Their corporations that leave a major carbon footprint, man. The corporations that deplete the earth of its nutrients. All right, and the whole world is ran off a non-renewable resource called oil, and which comes from fossil fuels. Which, if you want to get deep, those fossil fuels really come from the Great Flood during the time of Noah's Ark, because a large amount of animals died during that Great Flood, and when the flesh, of course, decayed, the only thing that's left was fossils. So the reason why there's so much fossil fuel on the planet Earth, in part, in large, is because of that Great Flood, which is outside of the topic, but just a little input, just a little disclaimer, right? Just a little insertion. All right, but furthermore, when you start your kingdom, all right, first of all, it has to be a righteous kingdom, meaning that it has to have the laws, statutes, and commandments implemented. And then you have to understand that anything that you introduce to your kingdom, first of all, it has to be within the confines of the law. Then it has to ensure the survival of the people there. For example, all right, there are certain countries that haven't fully adopted the ways of the West. So it's illegal to be alphabet gang, but they have a reason to be. It's a reason for it. It's a reason why it's illegal. For one, it discontinues existence. If enough people become alphabet gang, then people stop reproducing. All right. If enough women delay families to pursue a career, then guess what? Families stop being built. Take Japan. I want to say it's Tokyo, but take Japan, for example. In this particular place in Japan, the population declined in 15 years with a decrease of 1 million people just because of one movement. And that movement was women's liberation. But the fact that it's a whole lot smaller than America, you saw the effects of it, right? So these philosophies and these mindsets that's being incorporated in the planet Earth, it was never tested out, or it was never put under question as to how would this affect the future generations. It ultimately leads to death, okay? Ultimately, it leads to death, man. See, a righteous kingdom is not just, we keeping the 10 Commandments, or everybody's has morals, it's deeper than that, man. These laws of Yahweh Shema Shai were put in place because this is the most superior system on the planet Earth. All right, it's the most superior system on the planet Earth. But furthermore, all right, man, this man's kingdom, all right, it everything he does, it can't it is only set up to benefit you now. It's only set up to benefit you now, but it's deleterious, if I said that correctly, it's detrimental in the future. So like I said, this man uses an excessive amount of a non-renewable resource called fossil fuel, which he used for oil, when he could use solar power, wind power, or this other, which is renewable, or he could use another renewable resources, which is less detrimental to the earth. But he don't give a fuck about the future. That's why in all of his dystopian movies, he shows the earth being fucked up. That's not some exaggeration. In all his dystopian movies, where there's Elysium, what's another one? There's a lot of them, man. It's a movie that just came out with Tom Cruise. It's one of those dystopian future movies. All right, and I cannot think of the name. But in all his movies, the earth is fucked up. All right, it's one of those movies I was watching. That was out there in LA, and they had a picture of a tree. And I was like, once upon a time, we actually had these, man. You see? We're desensitized to seeing trees get cut down. We're desensitized to seeing whole neighborhoods or whole acres and acres and acres of land get pillaged and sacked just to build some plant, man. All right? But it's never questioned, how does this affect the future? And then furthermore, not only is he depleting the earth of its natural resources, all right, expeditiously, all right, it's putting excessive amount of pollutants in the air, in the ozone layer. And don't you know that over 100,000 people in America die a year from air pollution? I'm going to keep pressing that issue through the spirit. Between 100,000 and 200,000 people die a year from air pollution. All right, globally in 2 years, globally in 1 year, 7 million people die from air pollution. Where does the air pollution come from? In mass, it comes from fossil fuel burning. All right, they take the oil from the earth, or the fossil fuels from the earth, and use it as an oil, as an energy source for these nuclear plants, for these cars, all right, for these different factories, all right? And it excessively pumps a whole lot of chemicals into the atmosphere, all right? In turn, birds die, people die, all right? Now, something else that's he's done is very detrimental to existence is his production of plastic. Show me plastic or styrofoam on the periodic table. And what I'm learning is that everything that you're supposed to make, everything that you make is supposed to be biodegradable, meaning that when you're done with it, and let's say it goes into some waste field, over a period of time, within a month or so, it's supposed to decompose back into the earth. Or the fact that it's biodegradable, meaning that it's supposed to be decomposed by microorganisms. But see, styrofoam, plastic doesn't get decomposed by microorganisms. It's not in their genetics to decompose that. Because the things they decompose is nutrients to them. So they don't decompose plastic or styrofoam. All right? And what that does, all that plastic gets dropped off in the ocean. The ocean, all right, is a life source for billions of fish, underwater animals. And they consume it. Even when it gets broken down to the smallest element, which is a microplastic, it's still consumed by microalgae. All right, and in turn, we consume it in our tap water. If you drink tap water, which you shouldn't be drinking tap water, but either way it goes, it's microplastic is found everywhere. All right, so we don't really think about these things because we're going through our everyday life hustling and bustling. All right, but this is an unrighteous kingdom. Now you factor all these different pollutants, and only name two. You factor all these different toxins in the atmosphere. Then you factor in these new age philosophies, which cuts off generations. All right? It's all about sex, but it's nothing about marriage. It's nothing about a union. It's nothing about building. And then the West, which is a cancerous uh, culture anyway, it's a cancerous culture. All right. It's full of individualism. It pushes individualism. So the average so-called black woman, I would rather assimilate into the kingdom of her enemy or your enemy, all right, than help you build your nation. That's why they're against polygamy. It takes power from them. Polygamy takes power from them. But they're all for having their male options. Okay? You see? They don't want to see a nigga build, man. All right? That's why the majority of our women are not going to make it because they received their constellation in Rome. All right? But see, one thing we weren't taught in Rome, and of course, your king is not going to tell you this. He's not going to teach you this. One thing you're taught in Rome is that one thing you were not taught is that you're supposed to have your own nation. And that starts with the family, all right, which is very important. All right, that starts with having the knowledge of utilizing the earth to sustain your people. All right, that starts with, how do you govern your people? With the laws. But you also have to have the science of agriculture, the science of woods workmanship, the science of pottery. Do you know how much healthier it is to drink out of earthen vessels as opposed to plastic bottles? All right, it's because there's minerals in that clay. You know, I've been drinking out of a clay cup, man. Everything tastes better in that clay cup, man. Plastic lowers your testosterone, all right? But furthermore, it's inconsistent with existence. It doesn't decompose back into the earth. And that's very important. I used to think there was some organic whole food stuff that was out of touch with my reality, but now I'm understanding the importance of things being biodegradable, meaning that it decomposes back to the fucking earth, man. This man gotta go, man. All right? He didn't ruin families through women's sexual liberation, man. He ruined families through street culture, man. All right? You know? But he made sure he put in systems where we don't build within his kingdom. We just distracted by the bread and circuses. All right? But we don't have a mindset to build. You see? But in the kingdom, it's going to be spearheaded by, which is going to be spearheaded by Yahweh Shai, then King David, then the 12 apostles, then the 144,000. It's going to be a righteous society. And everything's going to be beautiful, man. You know, we talk about women a lot, but even outside of that, man, the fact that everything is going to be in its pure state, man. The food you drink, the food you eat, the wine, all right, the clothing, all right, like I said, the animals, all right, the stones. The earth is going to be you're going to smell odors and fragrances that you've never smelt before, man. All right, because it's going to be a righteous kingdom. It's going to be a functioning system that can reproduce itself generation after generation. Unlike this generation, unlike this kingdom, every time you got some philosophy, some type of mindset, it cuts off the next generation. You see? Feminism cut off generations to come. Street culture cut off generations to come. All right? But everybody look at the way of the Most High like it's oppressive. No, it's effective. It's effective. And it's efficient. Unlike this society, it's satiable to the flesh. It feels good to the flesh, but it's detrimental. But that's all. I don't have much, man. I just wanted to say that because of my spirit. With that, I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Till the next time, shalom.